We got something going on right now that I think we really need to take a look at. For a long time, the United States basically had been able to say, when it comes to military power, we've got the weapons. We've got it all. We got the technology. We got enough of that. Nobody really wants to mess with us. Well, what happens when you start running out of this stuff? Munitions. Because according to what's being reported right now, that may be exactly where we're headed. After everything that's been going on in the Middle East, the United States has burned through a big chunk of missiles. And when I say a big chunk, I mean almost all of it. Reports are saying that we've already used somewhere around 80% of our THAAD systems since this war started. And our Patriot missile inventory has dropped by about 65% or more. We're talking somewhere around 750 to 830 interceptors remaining. That's it. That's even for our own defense. And that is compared to more than 2,300 before this started in February. Now, think about it for a minute. These ain't bullets that you can go down to the ammo store and pick up a handful of them there. You just can't go down to the factory and turn on another machine and start pumping out things like tomorrow morning. And apparently, that shortage is already affecting military decisions. There are reports that President Trump was considering massive strikes against Iran, but some of those plans was called off partly because military advisors was warning him, telling him we ain't got it. And if Iran retaliates, do we have enough to defend ourselves from them or anybody else? And even more important, what if this thing keeps going on? Every time you fire one of those interceptors, you got to make a decision. Is it worth it? Is it worth the multi-million-dollar missile to shoot down whatever it is that's coming in, or the target that's going to strike to save it? Or do I hold on to it that I might need it for something worse later on? And this just ain't about Iran either. What if something else bigger or elsewhere kicks off? China. What happens with China, Taiwan, or even all of Asia, East Asia, Western Asia, Middle East, Ukraine, Russia? What happens if we suddenly find ourselves dealing with two major conflicts at the same time? We're down to 830 missiles, guys. And when these numbers start becoming a whole lot more important. So naturally, the question becomes, well, hell, why don't we just build more? Because apparently we can't build them fast enough. The American defense industry that once helped supply not only the United States, but damn near half the world during World War II, ain't the same industrial machine anymore. The factories are older, equipment is older, the workforce is older and untrained. And a whole lot of the smaller companies that used to supply parts and materials are not around or even functioning anymore or changed services. The big problem got bigger and serious enough that on August 5th, Defense Secretary Steve Feinsberg sent a memo to some of the biggest defense contractors in the country, including Lockheed Martin and RTX, and basically told them, you've got 21 days to tell us how you're going to start building this stuff faster. It wasn't a question, it was more or less an order. He even said years-long development cycles are not acceptable. They had to be done now. That tells us something, because when the Pentagon is basically telling the companies building our weapons, whatever the hell you've been doing ain't working anymore, we might want to pay attention. Then we go to Mesquite, Texas. And nobody's heard about this place, maybe too much, but there was a $460 million munitions plant built down there, operated by General Dynamics, that was supposed to help produce components for artillery shells. Nearly $500 million, and guess how many they have produced? According to the reports, after 2 years of operation, not one single usable part has been produced. Not one. Apparently, the problem was that they tried taking decades-old equipment designed to manufacture an older type of round and converting it to manufacture newer, much more complicated, sophisticated ones. and it didn't work. Meanwhile, the Army was saying we need a production of 155 millimeter artillery shells to be around 100,000 a month. As of March this year, they was getting around 36,000 a month. So there's a big shortage between what they ordered and what they actually got. So where's the problem here? Anyway, over the last 4 years, we've been drawing down our inventory by about 3.6 million of 155 millimeter rounds, largely because of what we sent to Ukraine. And you know who sent those to Ukraine? Biden. Now, when you start putting all these pieces together, you begin seeing something bigger than just one factory ain't working. We supposedly lost more than 50% of our smaller defense suppliers over the last decade. 50%. About a quarter of the skilled workforce is approaching the retirement age. So there's a workforce shortage. And something like 90% of defense executives say they're having trouble finding the skilled workers they need. And you got the materials themselves, gallium, neodymium, rare earth materials, and other stuff like that modern weapons need. And where does it come from? China. And who are we at odds with? China. So you think about it. The country that everybody keeps telling us could eventually become our biggest military opponent is involved in the supply chain for the materials we need to create military components. Oxymoron. So now we got several problems hitting at the same time. We're using munitions faster than we can replace them. Our factories aren't producing enough fast enough, and the industrial infrastructure is aging and collapsing. We're losing skilled workers and lost suppliers. Also, we depend on foreign countries for some of the materials necessary to manufacture the weapons in the first place. It ain't one problem, it's a whole woodshed of problems piled on top of each other. That's just the way it is, guys. You know how that goes. It's going to fall apart. And rebuilding these stockpiles ain't going to happen overnight. It's going to take years. Patriot missiles, Tomahawks, THAAD, and Interceptors, some of those systems could take years to replenish at the current production rate. Again, years. Which leaves us one hell of a question. How did the most powerful military industrial nation in the planet get itself into a position where we might actually have to start worrying about whether or not we got enough missiles, not only to be involved in military action, but to protect ourselves? Was this simply decades of bad planning, accidentally, or purposeful? Did we underestimate just how fast modern warfare would burn through these weapons? Did we allow manufacturing base to deteriorate while assuming we'd always have enough? Or is there something else bigger happening here? Because maybe the real story isn't simply that America is running out of munitions. Maybe the real story is why we allowed ourselves to get into this position in the first place. And that is where I think this story gets a whole lot more interesting. As you guys notice, I'm starting to do more longer form videos instead of short form. And I'm doing them in series, 3-part, 4-part series. And I hope you join me for each one of these. This one right here, I've never got planned out. It's going to be another 2 more parts after this one. And I plan on doing, instead of doing one long form video, I will break them up into smaller forms. And I think that's better for my way of doing things. I don't give flashy pictures and bright colors and stuff, guys. I just sit here and talk to you like you're one of us, like you're right here with me. And I'm more comfortable doing that, and I think a lot of you appreciate that a lot more than the flashy colors and look at me kind of style. I'm a down home guy, and I know you're down home people. So I hope you hang around and watch more of what I got going on. Check out the links from my other channels. Support me on Etsy. Got some t-shirts and stuff. And give a thumbs up and a comment if you please, and share, like, subscribe, and all that. Y'all have a groovy day. And as always, later, taters.
Attention passengers, we've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.